So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Alan McIlroy. I work here at Berthon International. I've been a yacht broker with Berthon for some 18 years actually, and most of that time has been spent specialising in the sort of blue water offshore market, and also in recent years I've been looking after new boat sales with Solaris yachts. But today I'm going to talk about multihulls. I was asked to say a few words on the subject. And it's apparent they're now a growing and important sector within the blue water cruising market. Previously multihulls were the preserve of the charter companies and a few pioneering souls that were keen to adopt what they saw as the advantages of cruising multihulls. Those aimed at the charter market, with so many beds and ease of use, but with little thought about weight and the needs of blue water sailors and their families who wanted to spend serious time aboard under sail. The pioneers, in many cases, wanted fast and skinny hulls, which again, were not a suitable platform for serious sailing. These biases obviously have changed fundamentally in the past few years, and we predict that change will continue. Not only is the market now made up of specific multi-hull builders, but we're also seeing what were traditionally monohull builders turning their attention to this market and starting to produce cats. Southern Wind are one such yard, for example. And a quick look at the ARC entry figures charts their rise in popularity as well. This year alone we'll see some 44 multi-hulls taking part in the ARC Atlantic crossing, now a significant proportion of the fleet. This is an exciting development and will further power the design and evolution of these boats. Similar to the monohull cruising market, the multi-hull market is broken down into a number of sectors. The more mass-produced offerings that tend to dominate both the charter market and those clients who want something perhaps as a cruising base purely for use in the Caribbean, for example. The semi-custom multi-hulls that would be more closely aligned to their equivalents in the monohull market, and this covers a very broad church from performance to more heavy displacement. Then of course the much more performance orientated offerings, which is something that cats have always been known for, obviously. Now, I had a chat with a client recently who made the change from what I would describe as a high quality cruising deck saloon yacht of around the 40-foot mark to an Outrimmer 4X. Now, looking at the numbers of the Outrimmer, it's what I would describe as being at the more performance end of the cat market, coming in at around the 10-ton mark, and the equivalent performing cruising 50-foot yacht would be more in the territory of 15 tons displacement. The value, when I looked at where the Outrimmer sits in the market and compared it with what you might call monohull equivalents based on LOA, it was comparable in price, if not even a little bit more competitive. And of course, a multi-hull of 50 feet provides the volume of a 60-foot monohull, but without the need for additional crew. So what were the motivations behind the change from one hull to two? One, of course, is it was definitely driven by sailing on a level platform. Cruising is a family affair, and if certain members of the crew dislike, or let's be honest, flatly refuse to live at a 20-degree angle of heel, then this is probably going to form the basis of your choice. Performance is a significant driver. In reaching conditions, a leisurely sailed multi-hull can cruise in speeds well in excess of that achieved by a similarly sized monohull, while more performance-orientated multi-hull sailed a little bit more energetically will be pushing into the mid-high teens. Volume, well, this speaks for itself, but again, as I said, a 15-metre multi-hull will offer a similar level of accommodation to that of an 18-metre monohull, and of course with two hulls there's that greater demarcation between cabins and galley and the living area, which of course tend to be both inside and out on one level. The general living area of a multi-hull between that, what we would have traditionally called the saloon and the cockpit, is a big attraction. You're essentially above deck in the living area, a big difference with the monohull, and I guess it speaks to the modern trend of inside-out living. Deck space and stowage. Given that while cruising we spend a lot of time at anchor, the platform a multi-hull provides it comes into its own with expansive deck space and in most cases good deck stowage. They also tend, given their beam, they have good tender solutions. not to mention the number of flybridge options available amongst today's cats also. Two engines, well, of course that lends a degree of redundancy, and again you've generally got good access to your systems. So what might put you off? Well, I guess the niggling doubts in most people's mind about multi-hull stability, but I do think the modern hull design and more volume in the bows, and of course routing and weather information that's now available to us all, has gone some way to negate these concerns. Downwind reefing, I know, is a concern harboured by some multi-hull sailors, particularly on the main, but with modern sail handling technology and a responsible approach by the skipper, again, these concerns can largely be addressed. As the saying goes, if you're thinking about putting in a reef, do it. If you're thinking about shaking it out, leave it for 20 minutes. In summary, what makes the right yacht stroke multi-hull for you is the one that meets with your basic crew requirements, i.e. Number of berths and layout, etc. And also importantly, what fits with your style of sailing and expectation, be that one at the displacement end of the spectrum or a lighter at the performance. In the end, the field of multi-hulls available is no different to that of monohulls, and it will present you with the same choices and dilemmas. I think it's important, whether looking at brokerage or new, that having sorted out your logistical requirements for the boat and the crew requirements for the boat and zoning in on a mark, then it's a question of looking at that, looking at particular examples of the mark that you've chosen and working out just what best fits with you and your crew. But again, as I say, happy to discuss these things in more detail. So if you would like to discuss both monohull or multi-hull, please feel free to get in touch with us directly. Thank you.